we're back with another episode of the interview with Fatfunny. Today we got musician and the founder of the Seeing Sounds Festival, Trey Moore. So we're gonna just chop it up with him and just talk about his music and how he came about this festival that just happened this past weekend. But before we do that, let's just get this out the way because we got sponsorship now. So let me just get our ad out the way. Booze After Dark. You missed the PK? Help is on the way. We got extravagant tequila, brilliant cognac, and some of the best champagne in the game. Pickup only, must be 21 plus to purchase. Head over to boozeafterdark.us on Instagram for all your after hour needs. That's boozeafterdark.us on Instagram for all your after hour needs. Back to Rogue Schedule Program. All right, so let's just chop it over. So what part of the city are you from? From part of the state are you from?
I'm from New Haven area.
Oh, so you're from New Haven.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
What I like about you, if you listen to your music, like really look you up, it says alternative. And that's like, I don't want to say hard coming from New Haven, but like everybody's a rapper. So like, how did you get in that lane of music and stuck there?
I mean, a large part of it is just like my upbringing as a musician. I would say there's a lot more. The alternative scene is a lot more, is a lot larger than probably what's presented.
That's what I'm saying. You would never know unless you're in it because everybody wants to be a rapper, but if you've seen the scene and say, oh, this is really something different from what
it's a
I'm
whole
used to
thing.
seeing. Yeah,
it's a whole thing. But I personally credit like my upbringing. I had two parents who were musicians. My mom's a gospel singer. My dad's a bass player. Okay. So I was exposed to a lot of like different genres early on. And that just carried over into my adulthood, I guess.
Okay. How many instruments do you play? Because I went to your Instagram, like, I think he was playing a cello. It might have been a cello. I might just don't know.
My younger brother plays the cello. I play like 5 or 6 instruments and I sing.
Okay. Yeah. Can you name it for us?
Drums, keys, bass, guitar. Drums, keys, bass, guitar. I play a little trumpet sometimes. So you might catch me playing trumpet like on Instagram. But sometimes I just do that just like produce, have fun with it. But
now, did you teach yourself that or it was like...
For the most part, yeah. I picked up bass just from watching my father, and then I think every like young black kid's first instrument is like the drums, just like banging on stuff.
Especially
or, like
church. That's all you know.
You know what I mean? Like you just hop on the drums, you play around. But I took a liking to piano very early. So before anything, I just wanted to be a piano player, and I was like going hard. I was like 6 or 7. I was kind of like considered like a prodigy at that stage.
Oh wow! So you was dope. You was talented.
Yeah, I was pretty like into it. And then I started producing around like 16 or so, and I was like started playing a bunch of instruments and stuff.
So you taught yourself around 16 how to play all these instruments?
Well, between the ages of like 6 and like 16, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So like, how did you fall in love with the alternative sound? Because like even. It's not even R&B. It's like something different. So how do you feel like this is my lane and I'm gonna stick here?
I don't know. I don't think it was so much of a conscious decision to like stick to one thing. I think being like the label alternative kind of like is the opposite, right? It's like I want to explore a bunch of things, and it's kind of hard to put it in one like context, you know. But I think again, like early on, my dad playing me like Prince and like Parliament Funkadelic. And like just those influences, hearing that at an early stage and hearing like fusion, jazz fusion music and stuff like that, kind of just like helped me to just explore creatively, which kind of contributes like the alternative sound now.
All right, so growing up, do you get like pushback from like your peers that you don't want to rap, you want to do your own thing? Because, you know, kids are tough. So.
Nah, my friends weren't like weird, you know what I'm saying? Like... I feel like I only got like with a few like close friends, and like those friends like have always been very supportive. If anything, like I grew up in New Haven. I played like sports growing up, so I played basketball. Like some people knew me for playing basketball, so more so like I'd have people who were like surprised that I like had this whole other like creative life or whatever. But I never had an issue. Like those people were never like, oh, that's weird. You know, it was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. You do this whole other thing. So.
Was it ever your career choice to play basketball, or was it just like something you did?
For sure. I think I wanted to go to the league just like any other kid.
So when did you change your mind?
College. I made like the conscious decision to stop playing sports. I went to Maine first to play basketball, and then I transferred to Southern Connecticut, and I started running track there. And then just like kind of, I feel like I had to make like a real decision because like being a college athlete, like the time factor is like a real thing, you know, between practices and going to school, you know, study hall, stuff like that. Yeah, like it's a whole thing. And anybody who's like lived that experience, like they know what I'm talking about. But I was always equally invested in like my creative life. Like I was still going to the studio. I literally transferred school so that I can be in the studio back home. And then once I felt like I had to like choose between like sports or music, I always knew music was going to be like the end all be all, you know, because like my athletic career lasts but so long anyways. So yeah, it was definitely the initial plan was just like, all right, like we gonna hoop, we gonna go to the league, whatever. But once it felt like I needed to like do a little more, like I definitely would have probably taken like the overseas route and stuff like that. That's more of a commitment that I didn't need to take, you know?
Right.
So
this is probably off topic, but you being a basketball player, I always wanted to ask this question. In college, you know, the goal was to get drafted or whatever. Is it a moment you realize, oh yeah, this ain't gonna be for me? This not like NBA is not in my path. Cause like when you in high school, everybody, oh, he's gonna be the one. But you see all them people that go to high, and it's like now you're a teacher at the local high school. So like, is it something yourself? You say like yeah, let me just figure something out. I'm not as good as KD. I'm not as good as LeBron.
Yeah, I mean like those guys. If we're talking sports, like those guys, they're one of one. Like you know, like no one's even.
No, I'm not even talking about them, but like say you're on a team of 12, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm like number 14 of 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I never felt like that way about my talent. I felt like I just felt like I can do anything. Also, like I was pretty good.
No, I get it, but it's just like I know.
But no, like, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So more so, I had to make it's a time thing. Like I knew my path wasn't going to be a direct. Like I'm not getting drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like not just based on the way. And maybe I could have. I don't know. I really kind of I took control of my own destiny.
What you love, basically.
You get what I'm saying? Like I had a very clear idea of what I wanted to do. And I feel like that was more so like of my decision where some people don't have that other option that they're so sure of. And I feel for athletes who just like kind of wander and it's like, yo, like I gotta make it. And some do. I love this other thing.
More than I love sports.
That's you know what I mean? Like I still love sports, you know? But yeah, you gotta make a decision how you want to spend your time.
Okay.
You know?
All right, so let's talk about your latest album, Psychedelic Love Drugs. First of all, how you get the name, because a lot of people love drugs. So
I've only had a like I was never like a heavy drug user for like context. I would do like edibles and stuff, but I had like a bad trip one day and I stopped.
I can't do it. That's why I don't do drugs. I can't.
Bro, I'm straight.
Stupid.
I'm cool, bro.
Do no type of
like y'all got it. Like you know what I mean? Like but more so like so I guess the album name came from like those few experiences.
Yeah, because I was looking at the song title, I like the overall concept we were trying to go with. So like explain that to us. Yeah,
it's super metaphoric, you know, like I think I'm an artist just like anyone else and I use metaphors and similes to describe like real life situations. So like the idea of just being kind of like hooked on a thing and obsessed with a thing or with a feeling was kind of the concept of like the particular album. So the name seemed fitting.
So what was the creative process like for that? Because you produce all your own music, right?
Yeah.
Right. So how long did it take you from start to finish?
Well, I'm constantly producing. You know what I mean? So as I feel like when I'm working on, or at least for this project, I work on other projects too that are a little more like intentional. But I think I feel like anything I do, I never go into it like, oh, we're doing an album or like we're doing a thing. Yeah, I'm a artist, man. Like this is my lifestyle. So I would say like just over the months, bro, just like producing music and just in my room, and then you look up, it's like, oh shoot, I have like 30 songs here. Let me see. Yeah, let's see what we do. You know? Are
you the type of artist like to hold songs back? Because a lot of people be like they create, they hold it back. But like you don't understand that one song might be the one to take you to where you go. So you that type of person? Or
nah, I let it fly. You know, because like even there's some artists who are very nervous to just put out music. Period. or to like put out an album and call it an album. Because
I think it's a creative altogether. Because even with interviewing, it's like, shit, do I really want to put that out? Or like, but you gotta just put it out there. Like, see what happened with it.
I learned a valuable lesson from my big brother, man. His name is Bam, Brandon Hodge. He's a music producer from Connecticut, and he's not my biological brother, but he's like someone who's like mentored me. And watching his creative process as someone who like actively does it. And watching the way he just lets ideas fly, you know, not necessarily that he's putting out everything, but I think as an artist, like you have to let yourself be just like a vessel, you know, let the ideas like flow through you because they're not our own anyways, right? So you just gotta let it flow through you. Just let it, don't be married to like anything, like harbor it for yourself because you gotta make room for new ideas. So I guess that's the way I view it. It's just like, oh shoot, I made this group of songs. Let me just let it fly. And if whatever happens, right, I'll make new ones.
Feel another way the next day. Like you never like.
You know what I mean?
I don't want.
You're gonna feel a different way the next day. You know what I mean? So yeah, just let it fly for the moment. Appreciate it for like the, you know, for the time.
Do you like performing? Because like I talk to some people and they just they're like studio, put the music out and don't like perform. I know you did a festival, but like, are you an artist that like you would do a tour, you would do this, you would do that?
Yeah, I like the idea of doing a tour. I think the more I'm experiencing now, I'm realizing maybe not as much as I thought I did, you know? One, it is a lot on you physically. So I think most artists tour out of necessity.
That's like making money.
You get what I'm saying? Like if you ever seen an artist that like has a 100-city tour, I don't think they really want to play 100 cities, bro. No. You know what I mean? Like they're probably really tired, but they probably really need that money. So ideally as an artist, you know, I'm working towards being in a position to just play when I want. You know, I think that feels a lot better than just like constantly touring and stuff like that. And creatively, that would feel a lot better for me.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the festival. So like, how did you come about that? Like were you just sitting in your room one day and like, I'm gonna do a festival? Yeah,
literally. I was sitting in my dorm room one day. This is years ago, right? I was in college years ago. I'm like 18 and maybe 19. I always loved the idea of just like doing something cool and where I'm from. And I was seeing all that was happening just like in other spaces, like, you know, like LA, like we're talking like Tumblr era, like stuff like that. And I always wanted to kind of just like experience that, you know what I'm saying? Like I was a huge Odd Future fan. I was seeing what Tyler and those guys were doing, like just living life, just, you know, with their friends, creating moments with each other. And I wanted that for a long time. I just didn't know, one, I was a kid, you know what I mean? So like, I didn't have anything. Two, I didn't know where to start. And it was some living I had to do. But the idea to like host a thing, particularly like a festival, carnival type thing.
Like, congrats. So that's like, wow. You see it live, you're like, oh, I can cuss in my show. Oh shit, he doing it.
Were you
like,
there? Did you come?
No, I had to work. Like I seen it on the internet. I wanted to come that day, but I
I feel that.
Nah, but it's like, so I just wanted to commend you on that because like one, coming from New Haven, being black, coming from New Haven, putting on something like that, that's a big thing. And it's not the go-to things that we see every day. Like it was a mixed bag of everything happening there. So I just wanted
2 stages.
Yeah, it was like, so you did your big one on that.
Thank you, bro. It was a whole thing. I think the idea like fundamentally was just like, what can we have? What experience can we bring here that we go other places for?
I feel like that's gonna.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the whole scene. You got something right there. It's gonna go.
Festivals, bro. We all love festivals.
Yeah, they're cheaper than concert tickets. So like,
they are.
Yeah. So so how long would you say from idea to actual event did it take?
You mean like when I actually started organizing it?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I had the real, I guess, context this year since it's our second year. So the first year I put it together maybe a few months. Like literally it was a thought. I'm like, okay, like 3 months, put it together, start to finish. Clearly we grew and I knew we were gonna grow. So I started on this year, maybe a month after last year's. Just formulating the thoughts. It also, you know, it's a big thing and there's a lot of moving parts. So it takes time to just like sometimes get everybody on board and those people can be just like your little team, or you know, you got to get sponsors. You got to make sure you got to do your logistics meetings. You got to make sure things are just like set, because even though like you're prepared, other people like you can't control. A lot of people
don't get the vision of what you're trying to do. They try to tell you what you want.
You can't control their schedules. Like it's just like normal human stuff, bro. So I'll say like a year. Like for context, like I'm working on next year's now.
Got to, because I feel like it's gonna be even bigger next year. All right, so like, how did it like? So you just, I know you said from start you had the meetings or whatever, but so it's like, okay, I'm planning a festival. Who did you call? How did you get this? Like, give me step by step.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that just want to do stuff like this and have no clue.
Yeah, not sure. Yeah. Well, the first thing I did was like sit with myself and write down all of the things that I want to do. I feel like writing it down is always the first step, because at some point for yourself it's important to put your vision on paper, right? And then you're gonna have to present that to somebody. As just if you're listening and like you thinking about doing a thing, whatever that is, you're gonna have to write it down a lot of times for like multiple people. So it's helpful to like just start writing. So that was the first thing I did. I just started writing down the ideas, the vision, and then from there you just start making your calls, sending your emails. Obviously, like you got to deal with like if you're doing like at a park or something, like permits and stuff like that. You want to get a head start on those things. But to be honest, bro, like it's really not as complicated as one might think. You know, it seems like a big thing, and it seems a little like it's polished a little bit because I have been thinking about it for a long time, but that's just because I've been thinking about it for a long time. I have a clear idea what I want to do, but everything after that, once you write it down and got your materials together, send those emails, get your permit, and you cool.
Okay. So I noticed your second year, but starting year one, did you have like a team to help you? And what was your key, not key people, but key positions they played to make it come to fruition?
So year one, it was really just me at first, literally up until like 2 months, like a month or so. I forgot the timeline, but very close to the start date. And I was consciously like looking for people, whether they were from the area, whether, you know, I was looking for folks to just like help in any capacity, like year one, because, you know, I'm just one person. I'm very used to like putting things together on my own. And, you know,
but you can't do it by yourself. Something that big.
At a point, it's just hard. And I experienced that year one, but I was blessed to, and it's crazy how this happened, man. I was able to like bring in a stage manager year one, and just like an additional manager and Ryan Brown, aka RB. It's wild because I met him. I don't even know how we met, bro. I think he just moved here from Pittsburgh, and he was a curator, organizer. He still is, but he had just moved in town, and he was just looking to get active and looking to see where he can help and fit in and just kind of make his mark. And he just hit me up. He seen what I was doing and hit me up, and we had like one Zoom call. And yeah, I took a chance on that, and it worked out perfectly. He was super proficient and helpful. And then there's an artist named Vanessa, who's based in Hartford, who we brought in to just help organize and just additional help. Like, but this was all like day of stuff. Like I just needed them there day of because I couldn't do stage management and drive the U-Haul, and you know what I'm saying, bro? It was a lot. And then going into year two, they did such a great job, man, and we worked so well together. And I was able to like acquire some more resources, funding. I was able to like give them bigger roles. So RB became the production manager. Vanessa became the operations manager. So like now I'm able to kind of step away a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Really paint the vision of how you want to do it.
You know what I mean? And I was able to hire a stage manager and, you know, multiple, you know, other people. So you need people. I was able to get some more help from year one to year two.
Okay. So how important would you say is teamwork when doing something like this?
Super important. Super important. I think it's important to have people like who value and understand the importance of what's happening. I think above anything, I don't think there's like no dollar amount that can get someone to feel that way or believe in what you're doing. You know, you could bring in all types of folks, but that doesn't mean their spirit or their energy is in the right space to help produce this thing. So if we're talking 1 to 10, you know, 10 as far as like teamwork goes and having people
in the right team, right? Because you can have a team of 50 people, but if they don't have the same goal as you, it's like, what are you doing here?
You get what I mean? Like that's really the most important thing, and it's really been the only reason why we've been able to, why it looks like how it looks and feels how it feels, because people can feel that, you know, they can feel when there's like dysfunction at the top,
right,
or when like someone doesn't want to be there. So yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Right. So how did you pick the performers? Like, just in case somebody wants to just try to get on next year's show. How was performers picked?
Everything's curated. So we curate events like month to month that fall under like the Seeing Sounds umbrella. And this is kind of where I'm learning and experimenting too, because the idea is to use those events to scout, to give opportunities to folks who can't all be on the festival, on top of just like scouring the internet. Like I'm watching everybody's stuff. You get what I mean? Like which is fun for me. It's new for me too, because like I was never in this position before. And obviously like year 1 and year 2, we receive hundreds of submissions now, which is interesting, being like, you know, we're new, but I think people really want to be a part.
Everything new, people want to be a part of it.
You know what I mean? And it feels great for artists, and that was the whole idea. So yeah, I'm doing the best I can to just like listen to everyone's stuff, see who's already been doing it. Right? There's like a learning thing too. Like, yo, I'm picking up the phone, like, yo, who's around? Like the amount of times I'm like, yo, I'm looking for a woman-led band. You know what I'm saying? Like just calling friends, just calling people. I'm on Twitter like, yo, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. So yeah, it's any way I can. The whole idea is to bring in new people and also give platform to those people who've like really been getting to it for years, you know?
Okay. All right, so do you have any sponsors for this event?
Yeah, we had several this year. New Haven Arts and Culture, Roller Magic of Waterbury. Oh crap! I want to be able to name everybody and give them like the.
No, I have to. This is because I want people to know, like, you can't do it on your own. You got to do part of it.
Oh no, you need money.
Yeah,
like yeah, there's no like don't get it twisted. Like you can do some things on your own, but no, you need money because
it's important to spend other people's money. It's not yours.
Right. But for one, we pay every artist. Like anybody who works.
Okay, that's I didn't know that. That's
no, everyone's paid, bro. Like that's the biggest thing. Is like, you know, we're trying to shift. Seeing Sounds is a festival, yes, but the reason why we exist is to challenge and shift and change the way organizations interact with artists, and that's on like the economic level and also like the creative level. So like personally, I know how it feels to be an artist and be underpaid.
Right.
Or to play an event that isn't culturally relevant, or, you know, your audience isn't there, but you have to play that for money. So we're trying to like bridge that gap where you're playing this really cool event for a crowd that wants to listen to you, cultivating your audience and cultivating like a new audience, and you're also going to get paid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah,
it was a free event, right? So that's,
and it was free,
real good.
And it was free. So it's a lot of like things that we're challenging, a lot of norms that we're challenging. But yeah, of course, in order for that to happen, you know, going back to like writing and emails, and it's a lot of, I've sent a lot of emails.
How did you get these? Because how did you package this thing to try to sell it to somebody to put their money into it?
Relationships are important. You know what I mean? Like, I think one, my reputation as an artist certainly helped in the beginning. People knowing where my heart is and knowing that like I'm really out here. You know what I'm saying? Like prior to the festival and it being as notable as it is, I've been curating and doing things, you know, with the underground scene here for like a long time. So I guess that having, you know, being in good standing and being a part of like that community already, you know, all it takes is one or two people to be like, you know what, like I kind of see what you're doing and we see value in that. Like here's $5,000, you know? So
that's big because people really don't like spend, unless they think they're gonna get something out the deal. They don't really spend money like that. Yeah. I mean, like art is important. You know, being from New Haven, it's a lot of art around, right? But I think now is like you want people to support artists the same way we want art, you know?
So that's a huge part of the conversations when I'm talking to folks too, is getting them to kind of see the value in pouring into like these communities and, you know, supporting events like this.
Okay. So how important is sponsorship? Hold on, go back to my question. How big do you think sponsorship and partnership is when building the brand? How important is it? Because you know, a lot of people, let me go back. A lot of people say, oh, I own it 100%. I did it on my own, but it's only so much, like you were saying, it's only so much you can do on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how important do you think it is for partnerships? I'm not even gonna say sponsorship, because a partner can be any type of partner.
Yeah. Well, I think partnership can feel like a different thing. I think partnership can be important at a certain point and will be important at a certain point. When that is in your journey, I think it varies. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, we're still like a very independent festival, like it's very grassroots, very, you know, we're blessed to have some sponsors to be able to do what we're doing. Moving forward, looking ahead, and where I'm at now, we're definitely looking at some partnerships, right? Because at a point you just need them. Right. You know what I mean? Like you just need it. It helps to have that kind of like support, that kind of machine behind you. Depending on, it just depends on who you want to be. Like for us, you know, Seeing Sounds in 2 years are probably going to be like a full-grown festival. Right. We're not going to be to operate the same way we do now at that level. Everything just changes. So, you know, there's certain conversations around partnerships and, you know, talking to different folks and stuff like that are going to have to exist. So yeah, it's important depending on where you are in your journey and who you want to be. Okay.
So this is a question. So how did you feel year one in the middle of the festival happening? Like, how did you feel like, oh, this is actually happening? Like, what was that emotion to you?
Year one, it hit me immediately a little bit, just seeing the stage out there. You know, I was the first one there at 7 a.m. I pull up with the U-Haul. Like year one, I was like the mover, and I was like, you know what I'm saying?
He was outside.
Yeah, I was doing all that, bro. There's no job that anybody, you know, is doing now for us that I haven't done. But so year one, I was just elated to see the stage out there, bro. To be honest, I couldn't really enjoy it in the midst of it because I was still filling out how to do the thing, and I was having fun, but also I was like, okay, we need this, we need that, we need that. Year two was a lot different. I was able to, you know, hire some folks. I didn't have to move everything by myself, or really, I didn't have to touch almost anything. I still did because I like to help, but yeah, and I was able to kind of like take it in, like in the middle of the festival. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it definitely hits at some point. Always afterwards, though, I'm like, oh shoot, we really just did that thing.
Right. All right. So, what are some tips you can give somebody that's trying to do this?
It's funny because I'm like, it's interesting because I've been getting a lot of questions lately about like how and what to do, and it's a fairly new position to be in for folks to like look at me in that way. Right. Not to say I never like knew shit, but you know,
it's just a different level of shit.
Yeah, it's just like yeah. To answer your question though, I would say one, like you have to make a decision. I made a decision one day to just like to separate from the life that I was accustomed to and choose to like pursue my idea and choose to like really go after this thing that I believed in, that I've always believed in.
Your dreams, follow your dreams.
Yeah, and the decision isn't like necessarily an easy one. I think, you know, it's the way my life factored out. I was kind of pushed to this like breaking point. I was like, you know what? Like I don't want to live this life anymore. You know, I'm hoping it doesn't take that for someone else. You know, something so like dramatic or whatever. But yeah, you have to decide like who you want to be in this world. And then once I made that decision, then you start to write the things down and then your feet start to follow little by little. So although something like the festival or any amount of success. Like it can be, because I'm a music producer too. Like, and so I know that experience of like sending out a song and having to wait and not knowing when and stuff like that. Like, you just have to have like, you have to be willing to make the decision, spend the time, be okay in like that middle space between when you made that decision and when you experienced like the first thing. Like there's a lot of that. There's a lot of middle space of like believing and working before it actualizes.
And staying in it. Don't give up too soon.
Staying in it, bro. Like, and I know how hard it is to live that experience. But yeah, now you have to stay in it. Believe in your thing. Know that you have something that you care about, you know?
No matter what it is, no matter what nobody say.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter, bro. Like if I cut you off, you're gonna say something.
No. And you I don't know what you were saying. So
yeah, if you believe in a thing, man, like just don't let anybody knock you off of that, like that position. And it is, I know it's very easy for that to happen because we're human, right? And we live life and we need things like, so something as simple, you know, not as simple, but something like money, you know, resources, you know, even down to like, shit, what am I going to eat today? Like can be a distraction, can be something that like throws you off, and, you know, cause it requires discipline to be okay with not having as much money as you had during this time in pursuit of like,
and that's the hard part. Like you used to live in a certain way, but so if you chase your dream, it's not gonna be sunny every day,
bro. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm just now, you know, this has kind of been like a 2-year thing for me. I made like a conscious decision to like really get after it. And anybody who knows me, they're probably like, what? Because I've always presented as a creative person doing some cool stuff or whatever, but I was working jobs, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was doing all the same stuff like everyone else was doing.
So you don't work at all now?
I don't work at all now. I mean, it feels good now, you know what I'm saying? But like a year and a half ago, bro, like when I didn't know how I was gonna pay for anything, you know what I'm saying? Like when I'm gonna eat, it didn't feel great. I knew what I was working towards. Like I knew what was gonna happen, you know, in a year's time or, you know, 2 years time. But yeah, in that moment, like it is a very difficult thing to experience, but you know, I'm also a spiritual person, and I feel like God would kind of provide little by little here and there. Like I never, even though it might have been a day I'm like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna like eat today. I never went hungry.
It might have been ramen, but I had something to eat.
Bro, I ate. You know what I'm saying? It might have been like peanut butter jelly for the 4th time this week, but I was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? And also I lived the safe life already. I knew what it's like to have money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because it holds us back from doing what we really want to do.
Literally, bro. Like sometimes like just the routine and just being comfortable, you know, I respect it. It's cool, but that's going to be life. You know what I mean?
If you don't do what you're going to be stuck working forever.
It's going to be life, man. And I knew I was called to do a lot more than what I was doing, even creatively. And I was always doing music and being creative, still traveling, like the whole 9. But I think God required more of an ambitious lifestyle for me. So yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Okay. All right. So where do you see Seeing Sound 2 years from now? I'm gonna say 5. Give it time to grow. 5 years from now.
5 years from now will be a lot bigger. Currently we're at Edgewood Skate Park. Our crowd, I don't know the exact number, but it ballooned.
That's crazy. I seen the video, like behind the scene videos. So look, you seen the actual number of people. It was people out there.
It was a lot of people. So, you know, I'm already thinking about infrastructure and what might need to happen, you know, in 2 years, 3 years. So we'll be a lot bigger. My hope is that it can exist here, you know, long after, you know, I'm gone. You know what I mean? So like, it'd be a thing that is kind of owned by like the community here that people feel a part of. You know, we want to make a significant impact on the creative ecosystem here, the creative economy. So I envision, you know, people being able to say, yeah, I work for Seeing Sounds.
So is it like a New Haven thing, or you want to take it on the road? You know, Rolling Loud is everywhere, or you just want this to be like?
I don't know, man. Like I think I would like to have like an international appeal, but the first thing is making sure people come here. That's the vision. That's the idea. You know, that's why we exist, is for people to discover what's in this region. I love New Haven. I think New Haven is a very special place, very unique. So anything I can do to bring attention to like where I'm from and just like the uniqueness of it is what I'm all about. So yeah, if we move down the line, sure, but this will always be like our kind of like home base.
All right. So I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you, man.
Make sure you catch this interview on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, and make sure you watch it on YouTube. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks, bro.